they pointed out their legends?
In our own minds.
In their own minds.
So I'll let them just take it away. We're going to give it a try here recording it. So thank you. Welcome, you guys.
Well, thanks for having us. No, thanks for having us. A couple of comments. You know, they asked us what we were going to title this thing tonight. We sat there looking at each other like we hadn't a clue, and that was because we didn't have a clue. And then I said something about the essence of photographic vision because I thought that was probably artsy enough, you know, that we might be able to attract a few people into it. That was not assuming that we knew anything about photographic vision or what have you, but we thought that we would kind of, you know, since we've sort of become the click and clack, you know, of photography, that maybe we could stumble our way through this and hand it off. Craig wanted to talk about photographing without a camera, and I want to pick off some of that too, but I also want to talk about the show that we selected here because it was, you know, we think it was a terrific show with a lot of terrific work, and there's things on here that are worth commenting. So
there really was, you know, we've done this, both of us have done this several times, or more than several times throughout our photographic careers, and it never ceases to amaze us of the quality of the work that's out there, of people that are working quietly, that you know, are working on their own, that don't necessarily have any kind of representation, or that really don't, you know, show their work in big name galleries and things like that. So when we looked at the files, because everything that came in had arrived in a digital, you know, in a digital format, and in the past it's always been, gee whiz, you know, we look at these files, and the files always look better than what the work usually looks like. But we were really blown away with the quality of the work that, you know, that was presented to us. I don't know exactly what the you know, amount of pieces that come in.
72 or something, 73, something like that, I believe.
And it was really, I have to tell you, it was really difficult for us to be able to pick 20, 21 pieces to go on the wall, because there was really a lot, and you probably hear this all the time, but we sincerely mean this, there was a lot of really outstanding work. And what I thought about the work in general was, I'm starting to see stuff, you know, I'm an old guy, you know, I've been doing photography since I was a child, and you bring to photography, or any art form, a lot of your personal baggage of what we have seen and what we've admired, you know, over the years. And we're starting to see photography by younger people, number one, and number two,
everybody's younger than us.
Everybody's younger than us. And number two, we're starting to see photography that really is more in the, for lack of a better term, more of a contemporary format than what maybe the background or the school in which we came out of. You know, both of us were really, I guess,
well, we grew up at a time when we came to photography in a time when fine art photography was Ansel Adams and Edward Weston. And, you know, regardless of what you may or may not think of their work, and in contemporary standards and everything like that, there's a great deal of depth and gratitude that's owed to these people because of what they made the general public aware. But you know, it defined fine art photography during that era. But photography has become so much more. But those of us who started in that time certainly carry a certain amount of baggage or history with that. And so the challenge becomes to break out of that mindset or that vision to look at what's going on today in contemporary photography and to continue to grow. And so, you know, in looking at a lot of this work, we start to see a lot of different things. Anytime you're picking a group show, it's never going to look totally cohesive because you've got, you know, 20 different, you know, 15 or 16 different people here. And so you go through this thing, looking at it, trying to, you know, ascertain what are the best pieces in here and what represents, you know, photography in its the state of the art today, if you will.
What do you think in looking at the work? What do you think was the outstanding, the one thing that becomes more outstanding? Was it the vision? Was it the process? What do you think is going on today?
I think, at least for me in general, one of the problems I think that photography has, it's really a techie medium. And it's real easy to get wrapped up in, megapixels and resolution and lenses and all of this sort of stuff. It's one of the great baggage, it's one of the real baggage that we as photographers carry. And you forget that it's really not about the process. It's about the end result. And how you got there, these are just tools. And yet we as photographers, I think, who have really been in this for a long time, I mean, it doesn't take but just, an instant to get down to bit twiddling. I mean, we can sit there and we can look at it and we can darn near whip out the, the magnifying glasses and look down there and try to figure out how they did it. And I don't remember a painter ever talking about the kinds of brushes they use, other than maybe the size. But we as photographers do. And so I think one of the things that certainly for me personally over time as I have hopefully become more sophisticated in my appreciation of photography as an art form is that I care a lot less about you might say the craft of photography than I do about the content or ultimately whether the image works. Because if it works, then it doesn't matter. If it doesn't work, all the craft in the world is worthless. And that's probably true with any medium. But I think there's a funny saying that goes around today. If I own a camera, I'm a photographer. If I own a piano, I'm a man who owns a piano.
Which is really, which is really true. And having studios here, we talk about this all the time, and we get a kick out of it. And we still encourage everybody to ask us these questions. But when people come in to my studio or Jim's studio, it's usually a question about, did you use film or is that digital? And how did you print it? And what kind of paper is that on? And how did you get that edge to do that sort of thing? And where did the color come from? As opposed to, I really like what that image communicates, or I really like, I like what your vision is. Photography today is a very, very techie thing. And so many people, and because of it now being that you don't have to have a darkroom, that everybody can go out today and buy a digital camera and a printer and go out on the weekend and take some photographs and come home and make a really good print, that this has really opened up photography considerably to everyone. No longer did you have to have, a space in the basement or a special room that was dedicated to have, to have a wet dark room. So we're seeing that the technology today has somewhat driven, the art form. But in dealing with it, as I do and Jim does on a daily basis, we try not to get wrapped too much around the technical aspect of it and think more about what are we trying to say and how are we going to do that to communicate our vision. And I think that it really comes back to the show that we see here. There are some really incredible photographs that I don't think we would have seen these. I don't think we would have seen these a year ago or 2 years ago.
One of the things I always look for when I'm looking at photographs, and maybe more so, maybe it's just natural to be photography as a medium, is what did the photographer bring to the image, other than ethics?